All right, everybody, what's going on? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Come on up in the room with me. How is everybody going? How is everybody doing? Hope everybody has had a wonderful Mother's Day as I have. And so, got some exciting things to talk about. Trump is on a tour and he's making deals with nations. And these deals between the United States and these other nations are going to bring down the tariff pressure. And that is going to cause an event where trading is booming between nations. And if trading is booming, then payments are booming. And if payments are booming, then that yields a massive opportunity for XRP in this new system. And so, want to talk about something that Trump quoted. I want to just read a direct Trump quote directly from a post he made on Truth Social. And we're going to get into a wonderful conversation today. So glad to see you people in the building. Real quick, before I forget, I have to get this out. For everyone that plans on going to the Cryptex meeting tonight, we have a public Zoom meeting tonight. The link is in the description. It's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Please read, people. I want to make sure. We had a lot of people that were a little confused on what to do once you're ready to get your contracts in the last meeting that we had. Okay. So when you go to the meeting tonight, you're going to hear from a man named Omar. He is a millionaire in this space, and he's going to give you all the information you need to understand what these contracts are about. When you are ready to purchase your contracts, you're going to come right back to this video, the same place where you got the link to get into the Zoom meeting. You're going to come right back to this same video. Underneath that link is where you're going to start. Another link that is a how-to video. The how-to video is going to help you when people sign up for these contracts. You know, sometimes people get lost in the sauce a little bit and get a little confused sometimes with the process. So the how-to video is going to make everything very clear for you and help you understand exactly what you need to do to apply your contracts. My link to sign up to Cryptex is in that video. Okay, so it's very important to start with the how-to video and then access my link to sign up from that video. Any questions that you may have, please direct them to my email, corneliusjones1980@gmail.com. However, I believe if you watch the how-to video, you won't have a lot of questions. But please email me. Please email me if you do. All right. So that was very important. One last announcement for everyone who already has a Cryptex account. This is for you. Not talking to anybody else unless you already have a Cryptex account. I'm having a Zoom meeting just for you guys on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Central. And so that will be public for the people who already have a Cryptex account. Want to get with you and show you how to leverage your account to make so much more money. And it doesn't cost anything extra. All right. There's no additional cost for that. If you already have a Cryptex account, you need to know this information and how you can use it to leverage when it comes to people that you may bring in as well. So it's very important information and you need to know about it. Okay. You need to know about it. So that's only, again, for people who already have a contract. You need to hear this information. Okay. So that will be on Thursday this week. And I will, of course, I will announce that information again. All right. We are done with commercials, people. Let's get into this. I'm reading a direct quote from Donald Trump regarding trading relations with China. Okay. He said, and this was back on May 10th. Okay. So this happened a little while ago, but I still want to cover it. A very good meeting today with China in Switzerland. Many things discussed, much agreed to. A total reset negotiated in a friendly but constructive manner. We want to see, for the good of both China and the U.S., an opening up of China to American business. Great progress made. So Trump's major beef with China was that we are the ones that are consuming all of their goods, but they're not consuming enough of ours. And so it was a total imbalance there. So that's what Trump is trying to correct. But when he mentions a reset, a total reset, this trading deal with China is a total reset in how they've been doing business. But we also understand that there is going to be a total reset of the financial system. Well, these trading deals that are going on with all of these countries, that's a part of it. That is definitely a part of it. So I'm excited about the trading deals with China. We just had news about trading deals that Trump made with the United, I believe, was it the Saudis? I believe it was the UAE or the Saudis. I don't want to say it the wrong way. I believe it was the Saudis, I believe. But let me check real quick. Because it doesn't take long to find out information. Yeah, it was the Saudis. Yeah, it was a $600 billion deal with the Saudis. And so the fact that we are getting these deals done with the United States is going to bring economic tariff pressure down. And then more people, more institutions are going to have more money, more capital to be able to flow into these digital assets, into these other technologies, right? And so I think that is wonderful. We're also going to talk about ISO 20022 deadline by November. But real quick, before I get into that, just a couple things I just wanted to mention, just because I think they're great. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Grayscale. The Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund Index ETF contains XRP, and it is likely that it may launch by July 2nd. I think that's great. Okay, we're looking at that summertime timeline. I also wanted to talk about back in the day, on the 20th of February, 2022, David Schwartz put out a post with the UK and the United States flags, right? And he posted the dates, but what it looked like was this. I'm going to put my phone up to the screen. This is what David Schwartz posted. Okay, y'all see that? David Schwartz is always posting stuff, and people's always wondering, what is it this? What is that? What does that mean and all that, right? Well, back in that time, according to my research, back in that time, not David Schwartz, but there was some talk and rumors about a deal between the United States and the UK that didn't really fester, didn't really go through. And this particular day, they were looking forward to something big happening, right? But it didn't really fester. But now the trade deal has been completed. The question is, why would David Schwartz be interested in something like that? Why does something like that interest David Schwartz? Well, obviously, people, trading deals of this nature foster more payments, which brings XRP into the conversation. They are a huge market participant in this ecosystem. And so a deal with the United States and the UK is going to boom business. And we know that these booming businesses that are responsible for these imports and these exports are going to be utilizing payments. More payments, more business, more payments, more payments, more utilization of XRP. Right? So it's not a direct correlation. It is an indirect correlation. It's like but still the dominoes are falling for world events to be in place so that XRP is positioned and doing what it needs to do in this sphere of payments. So this is all great news. So want to talk about ISO 20022 real quick, and then I will be done with my rant. So I remember I used to cover ISO 20022 way back in 2023. That was the very first time. Remember back in March, I believe it was March 2023, that's when ISO 20022 went live for the first time. And we were excited about that, right? However, what we needed to understand as well was that when ISO 20022 went live, banks were not mandated to start using those message formats. They were not mandated to do so. So what I was reporting back then was that the years 2023 to 2025, that those will be the coexisting years between the two systems. The old system is the MT messages. The new system is the MX messages. I believe that's correct. I hope I said that right. Just want to make sure I'm correct on that. The type of messages that it sends. Anyway, that's not too important. I can look that up later. But anyway, the system changing, they are allowing the banks to slowly migrate and coexist with the old in the new system. Now, November of this year, 2025, the coexisting phase will be over. And any bank that's not compliant with the ISO 20022 standard, they're going to run into some issues. Okay. And I've been looking into these things and, putting in questions into ChatGPT. And I want to read something here that I found was pretty interesting. Because what I asked it was, trying to get to it. I said, please. No, that's not it. Hold on, y'all. It's one more question I asked it. I want to get to the right one. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's not it either. Oh my goodness, I cannot find exactly what I was looking for. We tried one more time to scroll. I apologize for the delay. Oh yeah, here it is. All right. The question I asked it was, if a bank does not align with the ISO 20022 standard, what would that mean for that bank? Okay. And so I just want to read a little bit here. It says, if a bank fails to align with the ISO 20022 standard by the SWIFT deadline of November 22, 2025, when the legacy MT formats are retired for cross-border payments and reporting, it faces significant operational, financial, and strategic consequences. Below is a concise breakdown of what this could mean for that bank. Number one, inability to process cross-border payments via SWIFT. Impact: the bank will lose direct access to SWIFT's global network for cross-border payments, as SWIFT will only support ISO 20022 MX messages. Okay, so I did have that correct. After November 2025. This affects transactions like wire transfers, trade finance, and securities settlements. Consequence: the bank may need to rely on intermediary banks that are ISO 20022 compliant, increasing costs, delays, and dependency on third parties. Alternatively, it could face complete exclusion from SWIFT's cross-border payment ecosystem, severely limiting its international operations. So that's pretty huge, people. That's pretty huge. And so others, I'm not going to read all of it, but number two, loss of interoperability with compliant systems. Number three, increased operational costs and risks. That right? If now you for your trade, you have to depend on other banks that can make the transactions for you. That's going to cost, right? Number four, regulatory and compliance challenges. Number five, competitive disadvantage. Yes, every bank that does not comply with the new standard by November 22 2025, they're going to be faced with a competitive disadvantage. Reputational damage, limited future proofing. So I'm not obviously don't want to read all of that, but it's really something to consider there. Now, here's what I want everyone to understand. Does the global adoption of ISO 20022 directly impact the utilization of XRP? No, it does not. However, it does indirectly impact it. And I want to explain. What you first must understand is when it comes to this ISO 20022 standard, we are talking about a messaging system. That's it. Okay. A messaging system has nothing to do with settlement, where XRP's utilization lies in settlement, not messaging. The messaging is just giving all the details and instructions, that come with the payment. And now everybody's going to be on one communication rail where it just breeds efficiency and speed. But the settlement is something different. Okay. You can use the ISO 20022 messaging system without using XRP for settlement. How? And why would someone do that? Well, it's been going on. There are certain countries and nations have already migrated to the ISO 20022 standard. And what that means is the messaging system is all on one accord, right? And payments are faster, but we're talking about transition. We're talking about payments that get settled in like an hour, as opposed to, 3 to 5 business days. Okay, the settlement is happening in like an hour. That's pretty fast. And that doesn't require a token. We have Ripple involved with many transactions that are ISO 20022, but do not require XRP. Wonder why that is? Because XRP settles in what? 3 to 5 seconds. And the ISO 20022 standard without using XRP, even though it settles in an hour, which is good, guess what else? It still requires the banking network to get transactions done, which is going to what? Cost more fees. So the fees are still there. Nowhere close to the fees of what it would be if you were using a liquidity token like XRP. So why would they be using something why would they not use XRP? Why right now, as of today? Why, if XRP is so much better, so much faster, so much cheaper, so much more efficient, why are they not using it? I think it's simple. If you've been paying attention, I think if you've been paying attention in this space for the last year, you know the answer to that question. And it's very obvious to you, the answer to that question. It's all about regulatory clarity, regulatory certainty. Banks can't just jump on board any old thing. They have rules. They have compliance constraints that they have to worry about. And that's what we're in the process of getting done as of right now, as of today. We're in a big fight right now. The last enemy are the anti-crypto goons in the Democrat section, on the Democrat side of the aisle. That's the last enemy. And that enemy will be defeated. It's going to take some time, but I'm very hopeful that we do get legislation this year by the end of the summer, and that we have our completed process with the SEC Ripple case also by the end of the summer. Most likely it'll probably be before legislation, probably, sometime between June and August. That's when I expect that. And then with legislation, I expect that sometime late August, as late as early September, you know. But imagine lawsuits completely over, legislation, crypto bills signed by the president, and then November 2022, 2025 comes. And all the banks are required to use a certain standard. If we are in a season where the banks are required to use the updated standard and they have the option to use XRP in a world where regulatory clarity is certain, where legislation is written, doesn't it make sense at that point the banks will start using XRP? Makes sense to me. But that's a far-fetched to a lot of people out there. Hey, hey, that is just such a logical conclusion to me. That is a logical conclusion to me. So that puts us at this year, the anticipation that utility will begin to reign for XRP. In this, as we transition from this third quarter into the fourth quarter, its utility is going to begin to reign. Now, remember, that's just the deadline. Banks can adopt the standard prior to that, right? But by then, they have to be on the new rails. That doesn't mean they have to use XRP. They just have to be on the new rails. And people who are on the new rails will choose the mechanisms that are the cheapest and that save them the most money and are most efficient. They get to choose. That's just what it is, people. That's just what it is. So in a season where regulatory clarity is, not really there, we're using these digital systems, not using XRP. Ripple made an entire way for banks to get on-ramped onto this system without XRP. Soon as legislation hits, they're going to say, here you go. Try XRP. It's going to save you a lot more money, right? So that's where we are. Excited about where we are. We just got to keep holding. We just have to keep holding. We know what we hold. All right. My rant was a little long today. 22-minute rant. It's time to rock in the comments. Let's see who we got up in the place. Oh, man, I missed the whole super chat from Lonzo Turner. Appreciate you, my guy. I heard some utility goes live, XRP in 6 days. What? Anunnaki, what up? What's going on? Nola Man, what's good? Nathaniel Rosenball, how you doing? Israel Reyes, what's good? CB Great, what's happening? Benjamin Bujamin, my price prediction for November. Well, if we get legislation by August and the lawsuit is completely over, that will give us a few months of utility for XRP. My most bullish outlook in that scenario would be $100 XRP. Like probably more closer to December though. However, my more, less bullish, I can't see it. I can't see how it's not even $10 to $12. I couldn't see how it would, in that situation. And if XRP lawsuit's not over yet, okay, that's different. If we still don't have legislation written yet, okay, that's different. I can see XRP staying at $2 forever. As long as legislation is not written. I'm exaggerating a little bit because the rest of the world's going to go on regardless. But all I'm saying is, people, it's about global events. My price predictions are dependent on what happens in the world. And until we get legislation, till the lawsuit's over, I don't expect too much. But as soon as we know those things are coming, right? And it's getting closer and closer. Let's get Lonzo Turner in the building. He said, I see $100 easily with less than 1 trillion in flows according to this multiplier effect we've seen consistently. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Say, my Kadeem, I saw you in here, man. I'm gonna I just want to share what you told me on the phone last night, if that's okay with you. I hope that's information is that okay to share about the 72 trillion? Let me scroll down a little bit. It's good. Okay, bet. So listen, man. A birdie told me that a birdie told them at their job that starting off, XRP is going to have $72 trillion of liquidity on the ledger when it's time to start. And it's going to grow from there. Right? So what does that look like? What does that look like if that is truly the case? I know that's going to be the case one day. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I'm not saying when right now. The message that was told me, when it starts, it's going to start off with 72 trillion. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so I'm excited about that. I'm just going to rock with y'all in the comments from this point, and then we'll probably go for about 30, 45 minutes or so. We'll see how it goes. I left my place. Where did I want to? Got some good comments now. I will scroll up. All right. Where did I leave off? I'm not going to read all the comments. I'm just going to kind of get through them as much as we can, people. Phantom Beat was good. The July launch for ISO in the USA will be like when MJ did the moonwalk for the first time at the Motown 25. Yeah, that's right. So we have a July launch for the Fed, right? And that's for July. Lonzo Turner, I chose Velo over ZBCN. At that time, they had the same size market. Okay, I don't want to talk about ZBCN right now, but I feel you. I did invest in ZBCN myself, though, honestly. Do you think that behind the scenes, all these major banks and institutions know that XRP is taking over? Absolutely, yes. That's what we've been talking about over the years, 100%. Lonzo Turner, I believe Velo. Are we still talking about ZBCN? Sean Kadeem, were you the guy speaking about the stablecoin? Yes, Sean, that's Kadeem. Wait. When you say, hold on, were you the one guy speaking about the stablecoin in the Zoom meeting? I don't know if you're talking about me or him, but yes, he's definitely been speaking in the Zoom meeting, in the private Discord group. Banks have been working with Ripple for 3 years heavy. Of course they know. They just don't want the masses to know. Facts, Lonzo. All right, Kadeem already answered this question. Oh, my goodness. And speaking about the banks and their adopting the ISO 20022 standard, Kadeem said ISO 20022 or cease to exist. Simple as that. Plus, market cap at this point for utility coins doesn't matter for the prices to skyrocket. I don't understand why people can't get that. You know, they think market cap is some ceiling that can't be broken, or some number. Market caps can grow. There's no limit to any asset's market cap of what it could possibly be. The market cap is simply the amount, the total supply times the price. That's it. So if the price is a certain number, the market cap is going to reflect it. It just is what it is. 100,000 XRP is about to be $330 right now. He said, not financial advice. These are my opinions. I feel you, brother. All right. I'm scrolling down to the bottom, all the way to the bottom, all the way to the bottom. So if you type at this point, I'll see it like live. I think I was like 20, 30 minutes behind people's comments. Talking about derivatives. Yes, derivatives. This is the end of the old rails and the beginning of the quantum age has begun. Do not forget about AI coins like Layer AI, and the fourth and fifth revolution is running simultaneously. Yeah, we've been talking about that, man. You blew my mind the first time you told me that. But people, if you've been following my channel for some time, you've heard me. You may have heard me talk about the industrial revolutions, right? And comparing how XRP is about to literally change the way we live today, and going back in the past and looking at the progression of technology and watching how the way we live has transformed. Whenever the way we live, the way we travel, the way we, operate on this earth changes in a drastic way, that's called an industrial revolution. All right. The industry is changing. That's what that means. Right. So real quick, I think it's a good thing to kind of cover real quick. So the very first industrial revolution was the coal industry. That literally changed production. That brought on the steam mill, like the train, right? Manufacturing, and then oil, gas. That brought in the automobile industry. At the same time, around that same time, well, I mean, not around that same time. It was a little bit before that. That's when, around the time when electricity, learned how to be harnessed. So you had electricity, and then you had oil following that, and that just, oh my God, that changed our life. That changed our world. But notice each next industrial revolution is a much bigger change than the one before it. Oil, electricity, and gas. And then guess what came after that? If you're watching this live, if you're around my age, if you're 80s baby, or maybe you were born in the 70s, 60s, whatever, you know the next change. The next change, we all saw it. It was the internet, the digital age, the internet. The internet. Do y'all see what the internet did to us, did to the way we live? It changed everything. And now I don't have to physically be around people. I can sit down in the living room, open up a phone, open up a laptop, and instantly have an audience. It's crazy the way our world has changed. The way information is shared around this earth has drastically changed our world. And that change was bigger than the change of oil. Now, there's another one coming. And Kadeem was pointing out that it's 2 in 1. We have the digital age bringing all of value into some form of a digital token, right? The tokenizing of value, the internet of money, all of that. And then you have AI technology, the fifth. So the fourth and fifth, he says, are happening simultaneously. What AI technology and digital payments, the digitization of our money is about to do to this world is unfathomable. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what's about to happen in this world. And think about a shift and a transition that is way bigger than the internet. Just imagine that for a moment. We're about to enter a shift that is much bigger than the shift of the internet. And each industrial revolution transition There were assets involved that powered the transition that had you invested in them, you would have been wealthy. Coal. What was coal before it had a use case? It was nothing. Oil. What was oil before it had a use case? Nothing. Different businesses now that we invest in, right? Where was Google, Microsoft, Apple, all these places in the early 2000s, early 1990s? Now they have much bigger use case. Ladies and gentlemen, what is XRP right now? You think the true value is really $2.50? When the use case of all these global payments start get running, the transition of crypto and AI is so incredible. And to be invested into that change with the fundamental asset that's going to be responsible for the efficiency of this new system, something to be excited about. It's something to be excited about. All right, read some more comments. Are they going to push back compliance date again for isolated the ISO 20022? I don't think so. I do not think so. As of right now, it seems that we are on pace. There are no delays that are expected right now, according to what I read earlier in my Gronk search. So no delays are expected at this time. Good question. Crypto Bellwether, haven't heard from him. Haven't tried to reach out for him to him in a long time. If XRP hits 72 trillion on its ledger, that's $720 per XRP. I can't wait. I found my Virgin Mobile flip phone. I feel like a dinosaur. Right. That's funny. Market cap doesn't matter in utility cryptos doing tokenization of value. People should forget what they think they know and stay ready. I believe that. That's what's up. Is BTC with no utility 100K, whereas XRP is only $2.50 down to purely speculation? Yeah, so it's all about speculation. That's right. But one day the utility of XRP is going to be more dominant when it comes to XRP's value than the speculation. Speculation will always be there for every digital asset because it's decentralized, it's open, anybody can buy it. But there's coming a day when the value of XRP will be too high for just the normal average person to speculate on it. And the price will be driven by how often it's in the way it's being used in the global financial system, which will bring an incredible demand upon the coin. And that is not speculation. That has nothing to do with speculation. That has everything to do with utility, functionality, and purpose of XRP. And that's what we're talking about. That's the day we are waiting for when it comes to XRP. If they don't, oh, did I miss? Oh, yeah, there we go. If they don't, derivatives on XRP, people will be completely priced out in 6 days. Wow. Phantom Beat, I've been telling people to buy this stuff only on the listen. The only one that listened was my 16-year-old baby cousin. Wow, that's awesome, bro. Hey, if one person listens, that's great. You got to remember, as great as this stuff is, it's not for everybody. You know, just 5% of the derivatives market will send XRP over $100. And XRP will be running a lot more than 5%. Kadeem, not financial advice, but everyone should learn how to harness the ISO coins to make passive income so you don't have to sell. They are building out those opportunities as we speak, like FXRP and etc. Absolutely, my guy. That's one thing that I'm excited about. Actually, it's the thing that I'm most excited about. What I am most excited about is the ability to earn passive income from an asset that's growing in value over time. That's incredible. The world has never seen anything like this. I have an asset, it's growing in value over time. Therefore, my passive income payments are growing over time. And to have enough to where I'm making millions in passive income, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of money in passive income. And because today's Monday, and then it comes in again. You know why? Because the sun came up again, and now it's Tuesday. And these institutions are instantly zapping the money into my account according to whatever smart contract is set, right? Because of the yield that I'm making. And we are in a time where we don't fully know all that's going to be, right? Because we haven't gotten there yet. There's so many products, instrument products that do not exist yet, but we know it's coming. I know there's DeFi lending. I know you can put your XRP on AMM pools, right? And then Kadeem, he was mentioning some other things as well with FXRP. But there are going to be yield opportunities, people. And therefore, you don't have to sell your XRP. The best thing to do is hold your XRP and garnish the yield. That's the best thing to do. Once you sell your XRP, you're out. Right? Now, I'm sure I'm going to sell a small percentage of my XRP at some point, right? When it gets to a nice price where I can change my life the way I want it. Of course, yeah, I'm going to sell some of it. But having a plan to say, okay, I'm going to sell a little bit and do what I want, and then the rest of it I'm going to earn yield from. That's a good plan. I think that's a good plan. But if your plan is to sell most of it, man, not financial advice, but I don't think that's a good plan. I don't think that's a good plan to sell most of your XRP. You want to hold on to as much of your XRP as you can. If your plan is, okay, I got this many coins, and when XRP gets this price, I'm all the way out. I'm out. I don't think you understand what XRP is. I don't think you understand what XRP is. Even at $100, some people are just like, look, maybe if you're older, if you're 70 years old, that's different. Right? If you're 70 years old, different advice for you. The XRP hit $100, you sell all of it. You live happily ever after. But, if you're between the age of 30 and 50, I think it's a mistake selling your XRP. I really do. I think it's a mistake selling your XRP. But that's what I think. That's how I feel. None of that is financial advice. I always mock, this is financial advice. And I did that back when XRP was 50 cents. Back when XRP was trading between 30 and 50 cents per coin. I came out and I said, this is financial advice. Buy XRP now. And it turns out that advice was great advice. It turns out that it was great advice. Disco R1 in the building. Dave Juba. Glad to see you, my guy. Is XPR the same as XRP? No, Warren. They are totally different. I just learned recently about XPR in my Discord group. It's amazing to have a Discord group with so many knowledgeable men. I am not the only one spitting out knowledge. We have a variety of people who are in there spitting out knowledge, and I learned from Kadeem. He talked to me about XPR. He talked to all of us about XPR. And so, yeah, they're definitely different. They're definitely different. They have their separate roles, but I believe that XPR is going to be very valuable. Lonzo Turner. I hear you, bro. Price prediction around May 19th, the spot ETFs launch. Have they been approved? I don't think I've heard anything about anything being approved. One thing that I did read though was, and I'm gonna get to your question. Your question just made me remember something. It was it Grayscale? Something with Grayscale? Yeah, a digital large cap fund index, which contains XRP. Oh yeah, I mentioned that earlier in this video, I believe. That's scheduled to launch on July 2nd, hopefully. So what you're talking about is May 19th. I haven't heard anything about May 19th when it comes to an ETF being launched. However, once the ETFs are launched, it's going to be huge for XRP. The volume, I have no idea how to calculate, how much volume is going to come off, initially. But it's just so everyone understands, the ETFs are important because actual physical XRP has to be held by the institution that's issuing that ETF. So the customer who buys the ETF, they're not directly holding XRP. They're holding a security that mirrors the performance of XRP. But the institution issuing the ETF actually holds the XRP, right? So it's when we're talking about spot ETFs. So those are directly bullish for XRP itself because these institutions have to hold them and they're locked up. And so it's a big deal. But we just have some time before it all happens, and it will. Kadeem said XPR Proton is privately owned version of XRP, but the ID coding and metal purchasing is what separates XRP and XPR. Thank you for that, Kadeem. Lonzo Turner, 6 trillion market cap sets XRP $100 per coin. Woo wee. That's so doable, Oh man, got some bad news today at my job. My workload has more than doubled. I believe this is the storm before the sunshine. XRP, they can't break me, bruh. Say, man, hang in there, brother. Hang in there, man. Bruh, I hate that for you, man. I hate that for you, bro. But one of these days, I'm gonna put that job to the side, my brother. You're gonna put that job to the side because you hold a valuable asset, bro, and you know what you hold, my brother. I remember when I met you, bro. You keep hanging in there, brother, and be encouraged. Be encouraged, man. Phantom Beat, I'd like to see the full impact of the medical industry running on the ledger. Yeah, the medical industry. Kadeem I remember he had mentioned something to me about healthcare payments. Yeah, healthcare payments. I covered back in 2003. I covered something where it was some healthcare company utilizing XRP, and it had nothing to do with Ripple, But yeah, we're thinking about the healthcare industry. Oh, man, my goodness. Utilization of anything kills market cap thinking. Stop thinking in dollars and start thinking in yields and shares like you own part of the new financial system. Wow, that's profound. Think of it like you own shares, right? Yeah, like you own part of the new financial system. That goes right in line with what I was saying. We are invested in the asset that they're using to power the financial system, right? So if however many tokens you have, that kind of gives you like your percentage of the new financial system. The entire supply is what powers the new financial system, right? So how many shares do you have? How much of the percent of the new financial system belongs to you? If you can grasp a small percentage of that, you're going to be very wealthy. You're going to be very wealthy. All right, people, I'm going to go ahead and sign off at this point. Don't forget, tonight we have a Zoom meeting, public Zoom meeting tonight. The link is in the description. It's going to start in about, let's see, I think 2 hours or so. It's almost 6 o'clock. The times are in the description, people. I believe it's 7 o'clock Central Time. That's it. Yeah, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Link is in the description for that meeting. Don't forget, when you are ready to purchase your contracts, come back to this video and you're going to watch the how-to video. And that's where you're going to find the link to sign up to Cryptex. Okay, very important. People, come get your hands on some smart contracts that are going to pay you in 3 years, $30,000, or 5 years, $471,000, or 7 years, $1 million. It's up to you. Each contract, $100 a piece. Come learn the information from a man who's already making millions with this. Okay, that's what that is tonight. Link is in the description. And finally, again, on Thursday, everyone who already has a contract, if you already have a contract, I'm going to teach you how to use some leverage, people, to make you some right now money. It doesn't cost anything extra. If you come to the table, you already have a contract. That's all you need. All right. Going to show you what to do come Thursday. That's another public meeting for people who already have a contract. All right. That's what I needed to let you all know. Very important. This is your boy, Cornelius Jones, 10 Mina Investing. I look forward to seeing you guys later. Private Discord group. Our next meeting is tomorrow, Wednesday. Private Discord group. Our meeting is tomorrow on Wednesday. All right. You guys be blessed and have a good one. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one.